episode of Big Eyes, Small Mouth. For those of you who don't know, have you ever wanted to be in an anime? Well, this is your chance. If you've ever wanted to be the protagonist in an anime, this is how you do it. You play a game called Big Eyes, Small Mouth. We're going to find out a little bit more about our journey and what we're about to dive into in just a moment. First off, I would of course like to thank V for hosting and being our our operator, since that is what I have named them on the overlay. Seemed a little bit more fitting than the DM. And of course, we have joining us Jason, who's been with us since the beginning. Fringecore, Decca, Raynor, and myself, Pingrambo. And of course, we always like to thank our sponsors, D&D Beyond, that is D, the letter N, D, Beyond.com, as well as Lucky Dice Cafe and Station Retro. If you're looking for live games to play in the Huntsville, Alabama area, you should go check out those two locations. So, without further ado, operator, what are we doing? What is going on?
Crying. Okay, so you all have moved from your residential portals. Everyone was placed with someone different. Everybody had their own leader from the main six that everybody knows. And as the world would say, loves, because they were the main protectors from the get-go, from the moment that the portal opened. Everybody is at the first portal. You guys, over time, have made your way here, depending on when your portal is closed, so on and such forth. Here, you notice it's a little bit of a relaxed lifestyle, even through fighting, even through working and training and getting to know everybody else that is now here. It has been more relaxed compared to what your life used to be. You are able to go back out to town to take back the life you sort of lost while starting this. Every once in a while, there are meetings where the main six will disappear for days and come back not knowing where they are. Until today. Axel Samar, the head of the council, the one man you all know that has funded this project for the years that it has been happening now, is calling a meeting. Everyone is to attend, whether they have lost their mech, whether they have retired from the mech life. They're all coming here. They're all meeting up, and you guys have all been invited. The room is fairly large, kind of typical to what what you're used to. Rows upon rows upon rows of chairs. You guys can sit anywhere. You're more than welcome. It's not set to your specific groups. You do see the main six, or some of the main six. You see Quentin, the pilot to Volt. You see Blythe, the pilot to Pandora. You see Cordula, the pilot to Terra. But the rest of them aren't here right now, or at least not yet. You can kind of guess for that. You're more than welcome to sit next to each other if you all have met each other, but for now, it is a meeting. Axel comes up onto the stage. You all know him, the older man that has made appearances only when meetings are needed. You guys don't see Dahlia, you don't see Lorcan, and you don't see Cudvale. Everyone knows that Cudvale is certainly currently in medical, just because the last attack was a bit of a brutal one. Most of his mech has been destroyed. Carnage has been quite damaged. Axel looks at everyone, small groups. Everyone takes their seats once he clears his throat. He starts a projection. He doesn't start a projection, sorry. He stands up to a mic and he looks. I have terrible news. We were doing one last mission into the Nether, and we have lost Lorcan and Dahlia in the process. He takes a step back. He doesn't take a step back. Sorry. I will let Cordula explain what has happened and what is going to happen now. takes a step back. You can see he's fairly upset. It's well known that Dahlia is his niece in the whole thing. The Cordula steps up and she looks around, and we were attacked by something we hadn't realized was going on. Dahlia and Lorcan were taken. We're not sure why, but these aren't the regular creatures that we have faced in the past. They were almost like the mechs we have now. Piloted, we're not sure, but there were enough of them. We're guessing 3, 4, maybe. But they knew our tactics. They knew our skills. They matched our skills at some point, we realized. And now we need others that have never been to the Nether before to join us to take them back. This is all... You can volunteer. We're not picking names, but we are leaving in the morning, whether we have a large group or not. I know some of you are tired, some of you have gone back to your regular lives, some of you don't even have mechs anymore, but we need some numbers. We will leave it up to you. Approach one of your heads if you still have a head that is around. Blythe, Quentin, and myself, we will be around after this. We can explain more, but we will only explain to the ones that volunteer. And with that, the lights on the stage go off and the lights in the room come back up. And everyone starts talking amongst each other. There's talk of, like, if they're the main 6 and they know what they're doing, how did they get captured? What are we supposed to do? We're pilots, but how can we match if something in the Nether is actually like us and actually knows what we're doing? And slowly but surely people start to leave. Some come up to talk to the heads, and this is up to you now.
As soon as people start talking, Mark has been sitting in the back of the auditorium, drawing on a tablet the entire time.
Okay.
Digital art is his thing, or one of his things. As soon as people start talking, I get up, or Mark gets up and walks to one of the heads and asks him what time it needs to be there.
Cordula is the one that was the first to turn and see Mark, and we're leaving at 6. Perfect. You run... Which mech are you?
A Sword Saint Helios.
Perfect. We know you're a heavy hitter, so you'll be perfect for this. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, no problem.
Decca, you were going to say something?
I was going to be like, Cortav will either dimensional portal if he's able to, or run towards Quentin.
Running, because you're not in your mech.
Yes. Boom!
Now I'm picturing this auditorium with one mech squeezed into a seat holding his knees.
Like this. Just as soon as the lights go down, he's like already there, like, boom! To Quentin, like, I went in. You know which one I am, right?
Yes, I do, Cortev. I do. That's
cool. What time?
6.
Good. Okay, bye.
Perfect. And he writes down on a paper that Cordula has, Grid Space Leviathan. What are the rest of you doing?
I can do. Basically, my character would wait until, it would calm down. He's in a wheelchair, of course, so.
Yep.
A lot of bodies moving, so he's just kind of just waiting there, like, And once it starts calming down, he'll roll up to the stage and say, Alkalite will be with you. No doubt we'll need to...
Sorry, go ahead.
No doubt, though, we might have to recover either, hopefully, our living compatriots or dead. I'll make sure to tell the mech units to put a med pods on my mech, so when we go in, we'll be able to bring them back.
Cordula is the one to nod to you. She's She kind of crouches down on the stage a little bit so she can talk closer to you, so she doesn't have to yell from the top of the stage. And you were the only one that we were going to approach if you didn't approach us first. Our one of our best medics. So we're definitely going to need you.
I'll go get Acolyte ready. What time are we meeting?
6 a.m.
I'll be ready and going.
Thank you.
And then he'll wheel out to head off to the mech station to get his mech retrofitted.
Perfect. Another name to the list. Acolyte it is. Beautiful.
Well, Lorcan can be a pain, but I have to admit, I would miss him. Count me in.
Perfect. Gemini to the list. We leave at 6.
Oh, what an hour. Yes, that's fine.
Perfect. And what? I don't know how to say your name. Izawa? Perfect. I'm like looking at the name and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Sorry.
She's also waiting until things die down, as she stands up and there is that soft click of her stick against the ground.
Okay.
And she will approach the stage and just kind of like look up at it. Blythe? No, wait, hang on. Nope, that's not who I have. Second, sorry, I gotta pull it up.
It is Blythe.
Oh, it is Blythe, I was right.
Blythe sees you approaching and she'll move to the edge of the stage. Are you joining us, Izawa?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, add you to the list. We'll be up and going at 6. Do you want me to come and get you?
As long as you can tell me where the loading bay is, I'm sure that I can find my way there.
Just the regular loading bay where Revenant should. I'm sure.
Then it shan't be a problem, and we'll be there.
Perfect. And I'm going to take us to 6 a.m. the next morning, whether you're tired or not. They have given you breakfast so that you do not have to worry about going in hungry. They made sure everything was set up in the loading bay for you all to be there. All the mechs have been quickly looked over to make sure everything is ready by all of the small teams that everyone knows and love, except for Greg. Greg's a bit of an asshole. Talks. If you put damage on this mech one more time, he's one of those, you know? It's a fine work of art. Why do you hurt it?
I know exactly how many scratches I had before I left.
Just Greg, asshole mechanic. Okay, perfect. You all wait for the rest of the council to join Cordula, Blythe, and Quentin. They're not far behind. They had last-minute conversation with Axel before they came to join you, and you notice that they are also joined by Axel. Perhaps maybe a few parting words as the man walks up before everyone starts getting into their mechs. I know you all have never been to the Nether. It is equally as beautiful as it is dangerous. It is otherworldly, of course, as a portal on Earth that we know and love would be. But we have never seen these things before, let alone had to deal with them in the past. They've never come through the portal. They've always stayed there, but they captured Dahlia and they captured Lorcan. So we don't know what their intention is, but once you have gotten them, Blythe, Quentin, and Cordula know what they're doing to shut the portal down and to close the Nether for good. I wish you safe passage and bring back our people. Good luck out there.
got this.
And with that, Axel leaves you all to get into your mechs. Blythe, Quentin, and Cordula are quick to lead the way to the portal. Now, this portal you guys have seen before. You've been fairly close to it. It's a large, almost stone-like arch that dips into half of the water on this island, and it is glowing and emanating an energy that you guys are somewhat used to because your mechs almost seem to hold the same energy. Almost like they took the energy from the nether to power what your mechs are today. As you guys step into it, there's almost a pull. You guys feel the jerk of your mechs forward, even with the control that you guys have on it. Almost like a little shift. You can see the way that the portal pulls in sand at the base, pulls in water around the edges that it's in, and your only next step is to go through the portal. Blythe and Cordula are the first to enter. You see them go in, and they disappear with what, almost like a breeze sound that you would hear that whistles like through a window in a car. Quentin turns before he goes through his large met, giving like a quick nod before he also steps into the portal, leaving it to you guys to also step in.
I follow.
Perfect. Who's next?
I'm gonna amble back a little bit and then
Dive through the portal.
yes. Whoosh.
Perfect. That leaves
That would be
and Gemini. Or...
Yeah.
Good.
Alkalite will be last to enter because he's doing a final check of the pods.
Perfect.
He's got 3 of them, so he's just checking to make sure all systems are go before he's heading out.
Beautiful.
Bryn is packing a backpack.
Okay.
A few things that go into the backpack are a thermos full of coffee and a grab bag of various snacks and goodies. She looks. They look thoughtful for a moment. Tap their chin, grab a deck of cards and some dice as well. After all this, they get into Gemini, look at the one person remaining, and say, "After you."
Very well. Once he's finished with his checks on the pods, he steps in with the shield raised on his mecha.
Perfect. And Yazawa is also going in now?
Yep.
Perfect. And Gemini, you are the last to enter. As you join, you can see the way that the mechs are sort of spanned out. Quentin in Volt, Blythe and Pandora are off to one side. Cordula is off on another side, and holding that familiar kind of almost large cannon-looking weapon that she uses for battle. She's looking through a scope and she's scanning the area. But for you guys, this is all new. It's all... The colors of it are mixes of like purples and reds. It is mountainous on one side, but on the other side it is just almost like a barren desert. You can see the shine of what almost feels like liquid off in the distance, as if this was also mimicking like an ocean or even just a small lake. There doesn't seem to be any life here. You don't see plant life, trees, anything like that. You don't see any creatures that you're used to fighting or seeing, and you don't see any sort of anything. It is barren, and almost like a breeze goes by, kicking up what you can just kind of picture is sand. This is the nether. You can't really feel it because you guys are in your mech, but there is almost like a heat that comes down onto the mechs. You can see the way that when Volt shifts and moves, you've known Volt. Volt moves at incredible speeds, jumping, all of this type of stuff. You can see the way his mech is releasing steam whenever he moves, and it's a lot more noticeable than it usually is whenever you guys are back home. The heat here is strong, and you guys are aware that if you get out of your mech, there's a chance you guys would just burn and almost boil. This is where the decision is made. Cordula is the first to turn around. Where we lost Dahlia and Lorcan is over this way. Quinton, you are more than welcome to go out and scout. Take Gridspace Leviathan if you like. I know you guys work together.
Yeah.
The rest of us, we will make our way over there as well. Keep an eye out for anything that you guys see. Now, Gridspace Leviathan, do you have speed to keep up?
I do have speed.
With
I don't know if I have
Quinton?
speed to keep up with Quentin, but I have speed.
Oh, you have flight up to 200 kilometers per hour. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
If you fly, you can keep up with Quinton.
Okay. You take the down, and I'll scout from above.
You see the quick nod from Quinton's mech, and he welcomes you to take off. So you guys are more than welcome to scout ahead. The rest of...
While all this is going on, people see Gemini's foot kind of like gently go through the portal and like test the air and then come back and then back through and come back and then
It's like SpongeBob.
the head peeks through and then Gemini walks through.
Okay. Perfect. You come out to see that Volt and Gridspace Leviathan are moving off ahead to seem to scout. Which you'd kind of guess that that's what they're doing because they're known as more of a scouting group. Maybe. Gridspace Leviathan just taking off through the sky. Quinton just kicking up sand in the dust and on the ground. As you guys travel, looking around, there's not too much difference as you move. Everything seems the same. Gridspace Leviathan, you're not seeing anything different. You think maybe there's really nothing in this area, which feels strange for the type of creatures that constantly come through. Yes, Dekka.
Do we have comm units?
Yes, there are comm units through all of the mechs. You just have
Okay,
to pick the right one. How many people do we have here? Roll a d something. Let's see what. I'm kidding. See who you get. It's a roll of the dice. You just spin a wheel, and whoever it lands on, you got communication with. Cordula and Blythe split off in two sides, and the rest of you are welcome to walk around with them or on either side of them, in the middle, more further back, all that type of fun stuff. Whatever you decide as mechs. How are you going to space yourselves out?
As they fan out, Mark will keep Helios kind of in the center, so anywhere that trouble pops up, he's got the shortest distance too.
Perfect.
Alkalite will take a behind stance, so he'll be behind someone, but he will, continue because he still has the pods that he's trying to make sure they don't get damaged.
Perfect.
Is this all completely flat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
From what you can, there are mountainous areas. You can see sort of hills, but for the most part, most of this area is flat.
Okay. Then I am taking position up in the back, since I am ranged and I don't want to be close to anything.
Okay. And Gemini, where are you placing yourself?
Be second to last. I won't take the rear, but I'll be kind of in the middle of the group.
Okay.
I do, for a moment, shift to the gun form and ping out sensors to see if I pick up anything on the scanner.
Okay. What level of sensors do you have?
We're gonna have our first roll already.
Let me see. Let me look at your page. Flight, because I know sensors.
Just level 1.
Level 1. Okay, perfect. So you can sensor. I know there's a certain thing you can censor when it comes to sensors. Just want to make sure I got that right. Okay, it's level 1. What is I at 46? Okay. Right now, it's you are not getting any pings. It is all empty. As you continue to walk, you are catching something on your sensor off to the right of the group, so Cordula's side. But it doesn't seem to be moving, and it also does not seem to be above ground. It is underground.
I'll ping the team with that information. Send them a copy of my scan.
Okay. Quentin and Grizzface Leviathan, you also get this information, and Quentin motions for you to move out that way, Grizzface.
Phew.
Perfect.
Do like the Iron Man.
Once Cordula and Blythe has that information, they also start to move everybody that way as well. The area that you guys come across almost looks like, I want to say ruins, but I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. It is open. It's open area except for a couple beams that stand almost in a half circle in the ground. They just look almost like big rocks that are there. There are carvings on each of these. There are actually 6 rocks. There are small carvings on each of these, which you guys will have to get closer to inspect.
Better still be here for rocks.
Mark will move in to look closer.
Perfect.
Got my sensors on.
Got you, sensors. Oh, that's right. You also have sensors, don't you?
Also at level 1.
Also at level 1? Perfect. You are also getting the ping that is under ground then. It is in the center of these 6 pillars. It is... yeah. It is about... does that give you the size as well? No, it just gives you distance of where stuff is. Okay. You realize this is both of you actually, not grid space, sorry. Helios and Gemini, you get, as you get closer, you realize the size of this. It is about 10 feet in size, and it is about 15 feet underground, give or take. It is directly in the center of these 6 pillars, which, getting closer, Helios, you can see these shapes carved out in each of these that almost look like they could be mechas as well.
Mark will crouch Helios in front of one of them, pull out his tablet and start sketching whatever he's, starts sketching the design on the...
Perfect. They are very, sorry, give me just a second, Deca. They're very sort of basic outlines of what could and look like mechas. There's no really distinguishing features, but they all do look different. You can tell they look different, but like it's just like simple shapes. Like one looks taller and skinnier, one looks shorter, all skinny, that kind of thing. Deca.
So say as I make my way over there and like come down enough, I will portal behind Helios and be like, "What you got over there?"
I'm making a copy of these carvings.
Oh, anything useful? It's just
looks like somebody carved mecha into these stones.
So, see the word mecha on you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could you possibly portal the object underground out to us? It will save us a lot of digging.
Is someone saying that to me?
That would be to you, but I think it's also a question for me. Portal. Yes. What level of portal do you have?
Level 2, I believe.
Level 2. Let's make that decision. It's just called portal, I'm guessing.
Dimensional portal.
Dimensional portal. Door or hallway. I'm pretty sure you have to see where you're going.
Sure.
Level 2 dimension can be as large as a
Size of a
closet. It doesn't help you guys very much because I realize these are big boys.
We just have to scale it up to match the mix. Is all. Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say, are they like Gundam sized? Are these ones Gundam sized, or these are still our sized?
So depending on how tall your character is, say your character is 6 feet tall, at
5.
smallest your mech can be 1.5, 2 feet taller than you. At largest, your mech can go up to, I'm gonna give you guys a thing of like 15 feet.
Mine's probably like, I'd say mine's like 7, 8 feet, something like that.
Okay. Now let's see. Don't think. I'm gonna say, doing it a couple times, you can, like, shift a portal down under some sand to move sand into another spot.
I'm digging.
Digging, but a fast way.
Yes.
With Quentin's help, he has the teleport ability. He's able to also help move some of the sand, and once you guys are low enough to get to whatever is under there, if Quentin is able to grab a hold of a part of it, he'll be able to teleport it out.
I will start my portals. Just do.
Basically, we're digging.
Oh, I was
boys.
just more thinking of it's like it's going down, and all of a sudden we see dirt going. So in this little pile as it keeps going down.
Steer clear of the dirt, guys! And I don't even tell them where it's coming from.
It's just coming from like above. At first, everyone's like brushing sand off themselves. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. We're digging sand out. Are we pulling out what is under the sand? Is that what you all want Quentin to do?
Oh,
I
you're asking
think we're
us.
looking first, and
Okay.
then, depending on what it is, pull it out. But
Okay.
if it attacks us, maybe we don't pull it out. Maybe we put the sand back.
It's like,
That sand's kind of everywhere at this point.
just go back to sleep. Go back to
Go to
sleep.
sleep. Go to sleep. Sorry, honey. Put the blanket over.
Just smother it.
Mother, it's fine. Oh my goodness. Okay. As you guys are digging and able to get to the top of it, you can clearly see some of the outline of a mech. It looks like a mech, not one that you've seen before, but it does, as the sand starts leaving it, you can see like the top of it. And it slowly goes down shoulders, you can see the head of it. It's not a mech that you guys recognize. It's not Dahlia's or Lurkin's. That much.
Not one of ours.
Does it look damaged?
Or
Or does it look pristine?
No, it looks damaged.
Quentin, do you recognize this one?
Quentin is shaking. The mech's Volt is shaking its head. Not something I have seen before. We've never seen something like this in the Nether before.
Can I send an image of it back to base for identification?
You're more than welcome to.
I do that.
Perfect. You get some information back just from like the headshot that you guys have. It's not recognized. A lot of the mechanics have never seen the head of a mech like that before. Even scrolling through, like matching it up with other pictures, doesn't look familiar.
Over the radio to the group, Mark asks, "Hey, do any of you know exactly where they got our mix from?"
I don't know that it's one of ours. Base is saying they don't recognize it.
No, I'm saying, do you know where they did get ours from? Because didn't they have some awfully soon after the portals opened?
Did they dig mine out of the sand?
That's kind of what I'm asking.
Cordula's the one to speak up. She's known for being a military presence. She has always been in the military, and she became almost like a right hand to Axel after the portals opened. she explains that whenever the mechs started coming around and all of the mechs found their partners, or partners were found for them, pilots were found for them, they explained to her that through the Nether they were able to find like the power and energy source to like push information forward to work on the mechs at a quicker pace. People were able to quickly build and like power up these mechs because of stuff they had found in the Nether. And that's as much as Cordula knows about it.
Well, who wants to be the brave one to check out this cockpit? Furthermore, not it.
Who has
Wow,
mechanical
what a
genius
coward!
We
in
probably spontaneously combust by the time we could get into the cockpit, and it looks damaged. So I wouldn't suggest anybody.
So who has mechanical genius in our group? I know I have it, but I was just checking.
I don't think
Well.
I
I do too, but I said not it.
I do, but no.
Not it.
V, how far are we from the portal at this
I
point?
am comfortable in my mech, so no.
Okay. To get to these pillars, you guys probably were walking for about 20-25 minutes. You can see the portal. It does have, you do have some distance between it.
You want to go haul and toss this thing back to the portal? Let the base back home be working on it.
I feel like perhaps that would be a bad idea. If we
Sure,
don't
let's give the
know
stranger
what this
our-
is, maybe we shouldn't send it back?
I do think
Alright,
we
I'm
should
getting it. I'm
bring
going in.
to the portal, and oh wow, they just went in.
There he go. Okay.
He's a man of action.
Man of action. Hell yeah, that's what I love. Okay, Deca, Grid Space Leviathan.
Hi.
With some help, you are able to pull it out. It is heavily damaged. It has a lot of like almost like they were cut through in their chest, and the area is open. The shape of it, it is probably about it's about 10 feet tall. You can see that its one of its legs is almost detached. It is like barely holding on by like some sort of strand almost. The face is cut up. The arms cut up. This damage seems like something that would not be pilotable, even that you guys can recognize.
The ripped open chest, does it look like it opens to a cockpit?
No.
Or like there was a person that would have been standing in it or something?
Nope.
Okay. I thought maybe somebody had lost a pilot and basically buried the mech in lieu of having a body.
Yikes.
How ceremonial.
Bury it in the Nether.
Is there any
Gosh.
sort of mechanical, like, interface?
Where in a mechanical interface, like what? Sorry, what are you looking for?
In the mech that's in the ground?
And the mech doesn't sound. You can see like strands that would be metal or what could be wires, but it doesn't look like wires.
Okay.
So, what do you think? Robot guys, or is this a mech like ours with a pilot?
Could be possible that it might be a piloted mech. We would have to find who the pilot is, if there was one, or if there's anything remaining of it.
Alright, didn't look like the chest cavity was a... Start examining the head. You said it was damaged too. Can you see
Yep.
Can I see inside it at all?
There's no empty space inside of the head of the mech. It is like a solid. It's a solid piece, but you can see where it could have, like where the damage was cut deep enough that it seemed like you've seen mechs damaged in battle back home. You've seen the way Cudfail, the pilot to Carnage, has ripped apart things, but also taken heavy damage himself. Normally, you see like Carnage has had his arm ripped off. You can see where the attachments have been, where the upgrades have been put by everybody. This is solid, and it looks almost like a liquid had come out of one of the cuts, but it is black. You're not sure if it could be oil or anything of the sorts. You'd have to do some like sort of quick test, which I'll say Cordula is able to do.
Does the inside look organic?
Not something you're familiar with whenever it comes to something like this, but it looks like it could be, but not in a way that Earth could be like organic, like if you cut open a chest and you see a beating heart, or you open a head and you see a brain. You can't tell what this would be, but it looks like something had rotted from the inside.
I'm out of my depth. I found the thing. You guys do
I found the
your
thing.
thing
I
now.
digged it up.
I did my job. It's your guys' turn now.
I suggest we leave it here and maybe drag it back with us once we go home.
I do a full scanner sweep of it. So do a more detailed sit there and scan. See if I can get any more information that might be useful.
Perfect. Doing your scan, it takes a little bit of time. You scan through it. It is solid. You can see, with the way it looks, there's no empty space on the inside for where a mech or a pilot, could be. It is solid, and it looks like there's almost a sort of skeleton to it. It just is very upscaled and different from what a human's would be.
Great. We're in Jotunheim.
Cyborg aliens! Neat.
Giant cyborg aliens. Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Large, big. Are we in cyborg aliens? Did anybody answer that question?
No, they didn't.
Of course not.
Start poking at the walls inside Helio's cockpit.
Gemini starts talking to me, I'm going to be really weirded out.
I'd be into it.
Could also be that they just found some of the bodies and reverse engineered them and created our mix.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I would too be into it. I would just be weirded out first.
This is weird, but I kind of like it.
This is weird. I totally dig it.
This is also not getting our job done.
No.
No, but let's get this near the portal. I can fly it back if necessary to save time.
We have a mission.
Yeah, we can grab it on the way back, assuming we're not running for our lives at that point.
Okay, that's fair. Pull it out. Though I do think that's a bold assumption.
Mm-hmm.
But at least we know there might be other mechs like that out there, so we best be careful.
Yes, and I'm worried that we might find one of our friends' mechs like this, so let's keep an eye out.
They said the kidnappers, if you will, look kind of like mechs. That may be them.
Could be possible. But we've been fighting different things that have been coming out of the portal. If I'm correct, V.
Yes. You guys have you've never fought another mech, unless for some reason y'all wanted to spar each other, which Carnage was always down for, but everyone doesn't like to fight Carnage, because the boy will rip your arm off even for a friendly spar. He's like, you made a mistake, your arm's gone now. What?
You have to catch me, fucker.
Pretty much.
It's like he grabbed your arm. He's like, quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself. Quit hitting yourself.
Yeah, that was...
I will say, I totally sparred against him, and that's part of the reason I'm so good at mechanics.
Yeah, put your own deck back together. Yeah, okay.
Because after the 14th time that you had to have your arm replaced, the mechanics were like, fuck you.
Do it yourself.
It was always Greg, like, fucking happens again, I swear to God, I'm fucking done.
God damn it, Greg!
It's always Greg the mechanic.
Just
Greg
hit the
threatens
noise
to quit
tag.
every
Don't-
time he
don't
ever
tell her.
actually
But he never
quits.
does. Nope.
He's a big
Fuck you,
soul.
I have kids. I'd quit this place.
Mhm.
If
That
I
was
didn't
Greg.
have kids, I'd quit this place.
Wow.
The money here is good.
That-
Y'all have good money from working here. From being
hit-
pilots.
That hit a little too close to home, V.
I'm sorry.
That's how Mark finances his band.
Hashtag too real.
Too real. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
Too real for me.
Well, I'm gonna go to Quentin and be like, okay, we're done here. I'm gonna go back to scouting.
Yes. Quentin goes off with you as well. So, continuing on the path from the portal, or are you guys going to connect to your original path? You guys have already passed the location. Cordula had mentioned it to you that you passed the location where we lost them. There was nothing there, and then the pillars were off to the side.
We'll go back the way we were going originally.
Okay. Still pretty barren. You guys aren't seeing very much when it comes to scouting ahead. You lose sight of Quentin at some point. You know Quentin's mech Volt can go invisible. So the fact that he's disappeared from your line of sight and from your area is not surprising.
Wait, you're still there, right?
Yes. Yes, Great Space, I am still here.
Just making sure. Just making sure. Sorry, Bolt. Yeah, right. Cool. Got you.
You're good. You can... Sorry, Cortev. I can call you by your names. I'm just remembering Max more for some reason. Cortev. Cortev? Cortev.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm like, is it Cortev?
I'm gonna keep saying yes every time.
Cortivi. Is that right?
Yes.
I love it. Oh god. Okay. Continuing your movement, do we have Gemini keeping up his sensors?
Yes. Since I'm not flying, I'll keep doing.
Keep doing the sensors. Perfect. As you guys are moving forward, Gemini, you pick up something on your sensor, and it is moving, and it is moving fast. It's not above ground, it's below ground again. You can see the way it moves. It moves off to the left and seems to almost make a fast turn before it comes back around and goes right. You can see it getting closer and closer. You recognize this patterns from fighting off in the back home. These are things that move fast through the ground and that will attack whenever they are close enough to attack.
Groundling. I send the scanner data over.
Everybody gets the ping.
Why does all the good stuff happen when I'm not there?
God. Okay. Going back. You guys get the ping, and as soon as you guys get one ping, another ping appears on the scanner. This one is above ground. It is moving just as fast, and it is making the same sort of pattern: turning right, turning back around, coming
Are they
back.
synchronized, or are they at different points doing the same thing?
Different
Sort of.
points.
Okay.
Same sort of pattern, but in different areas.
I'll move to intercept the one above ground.
Okay. You can see it very quickly. It is kicking up. Well, you don't see. You see where it is. You can't see what it is just yet. The dust that it is making is kicking up incredibly quick. You can see the dust path from the one underneath, as well as it is also kicking up sand from underground. And for that, we're going to roll for initiative. We're going to do a roll, and I need a pencil and a paper for that. Because we don't have tokens. And I am not giving you tokens. No tokens for you.
We just
Perfect.
roll it here on the thing, right?
Sorry?
We just roll it here on the.
Yes. Actually, there's a certain way to roll initiative if I remember correctly. So roll for initiative. Let's see.
Well, there's a dice here on the sheet.
Yeah, you guys go ahead, roll that. We'll see what happens. Just because some of the rolls are they're weird for some reason. Oh, those are big boy rolls.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Best initiative roll I've had in 2 weeks.
Perfect. Just gonna write this. Got grid. Who had the highest? Let's see. Revenant. Okay. So this is where it gets fun for me. We've got Koratef at a 14. The roll.
Initiative. It's on your character sheet.
Yep. Roll. Just roll 2d6. Ray. 2d6. It's plus. Percent powers. Do you have anything on your sheet that includes the bonus? Let me take a look really quick. Combat art, extra attack, fungi, perish. No, so just 2d6. That's
There's
okay.
a mod to it, right?
Sorry?
There's a mod to it, right?
There's a mod to it depending on some of the things. Wait, what's your combat value? That's a good question. Do you have your sheet filled out? Right? Okay.
No, I just realized I had been filling out a separate sheet.
Okay, let me see. Body, mind, soul, 11. 1166. I should be able to get your combat value from this. Body, mind, soul. So that's 11. Making that a 6. Making that a 6. So we are looking at combat value. Your combat value is 7. So 4, 7. So you're at a 10 as well. I just filled in some of your sheet for your body, mind, soul for at least that. Okay. So you have a 10. Let me close that off. I will let you guys choose between Acolyte and Ray. Who would like to go first?
No, it's the lowest roll that goes first.
Both of you have 10. I was going to give you the decision to.
Oh, in order. I'll go last.
Okay. Ray, I'll put you in then.
As I'm already in gun mode, I will fire my big gun.
Okay, perfect. No, we don't have to worry about that just yet. Mark, sorry, your Acolyte's going last. Okay. Sorry, guys. Oh, right. Perfect. And then we have 1, and we have 2. Perfect. All right. So we have Revenant up first. Revenant, you can see from your distance the one that Helios has gone up to fight. You can see the dust is there. It's starting to settle because it has stopped moving. You can't see it just yet, though.
Okay, if I move towards it, would I be able to see it, or is it because it's the dust?
Still shrouded by dust. The dust is starting to set. You can see the outline of it, other than that. So now, just as a reminder for you guys, Ray, you also weren't here whenever I was mentioning it. When you're rolling to attack, we won't be rolling off of the sheet because the sheet has been rolling your stat plus 2d6. To make a successful attack, you need to roll below what your stat is. So, if you're making an attack that uses body, and I'm looking at one of my characters, and his body stat is an 11. You need to roll 2d6 and get an 11 or lower. For a like a nat, the same thing as a nat 20, you need to roll 2 ones for that double damage. So you do have a chance to crit, but there are also chances that you guys will fail.
Fun.
Okay. Well, I will. As long as I can see the outline, I have something to shoot at. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we're just gonna fire as is. So
Okay.
You want 2d6 plus what?
So you will be rolling 2d6 plus 1. Now, unfortunately, because the creature is still slightly concealed, you're getting a negative modifier.
So that means you're adding, right?
I'm adding.
Yes. Okay.
So you would be rolling 2d6 plus 1, and you need to get an 8 or lower.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, I do have Deadeye as part of being, as part of Bow Bunny,
Okay.
which
Now,
each penalty is reduced by 3 to a minimum of 0.
okay. So roll 2d6 plus 1 minus 3.
Okay.
Well, there you go. You have Heat Deep. Now, let me just double check something. Perfect. You have hit. Perfect. You've hit the top one.
So,
That is a successful strike.
just for reference,
Yes.
Revenant is a darkly colored mech. Like, it's red and black. It's a very dark colored mech. And then, as the bow draws back, this area is just completely shining with this bright pink energy before she lets it go and fires. Very contrasting to what you would expect
That's
to come out of
kawaii
this
as
mech.
fuck.
Wasn't your Icon's character wearing red and black?
Yes,
I have one
Aether
type.
pretty much wore red and black too. Look, I like those colors, okay?
Right.
I like them a lot.
Making sure I remembered right.
She has a type. That's where it is. That's where it stays. Okay. You do how much again with your bow? 38?
38.
Perfect.
And that's it.
Okay. As the shot drags out, Helios, you see it move past you. It's a pure shot. It goes right by you without an issue, and it hits this thing basically square in the chest. The dust clears from it immediately. And you are standing directly in front of a mech that looks like Volt. It looks like the mech that Quentin is running. It is different colors. Quentin's mech has been, as you can see it as Volt, has been a lot of silvers and a lot of blues. This mech is dark in color, like almost like a brown, and it seems to have an energy that is yellow. Okay. Perfect. The next one to hit is one of our boys, one of my boys. As it moves, it is going for the closest thing to it, which is unfortunately Helios. So let's take a look at this. Okay. Beat that. Now let me see. Jason, what is your perfect defense is 5? Okay. You see it come from the ground fairly quickly. It is almost the diving, like it almost looks like it's diving out of water, but like back onto land. As it moves up to hit you, it knocks you back a little bit.
Would my melee defense skill factor into this?
Let's take a look at your.
I've got 2 ranks of that.
Okay. Melee defense will. Why is that not written down there? Sorry, give me a second. If I remember correctly, you'll take less damage because of it.
Okay.
I always spell defense wrong. I don't know why. I'm just like, yes, C feels good. Oh, those melee attacks. Oh, you have melee defense. Okay, that's a skill. Yes. Yeah, you'll be taking less damage.
Okay.
The attacker, yeah. I'm found with a melee weapon. You hey, your melee weapon is your it's basically an energy blade, right?
Right. They come out of the back of his fists.
Okay, perfect. You will be taking 12 damage.
All right. I've got 1 level of heavy armor.
Okay. Your heavy armor. You're gonna reduce all my damage. That's what
Not
I'm
all.
hearing.
Not all of it.
Still took 2.
So took 2 so far. Heavy armor. Hirschfield. At level what? 1?
1.
You'll be taking 2 damage. All damage is reduced by 10 points.
Ripples up out of the ground. Rawr! Dink.
A little flick of dirt gets into your HUD.
Baby flick of dirt. Okay. I see how this is going to go now. I didn't know how this fight was going to go, so I scaled this fight back. Okay, ready, motherfuckers. No, I'm kidding. All right. After it goes to hit you, it's almost like it tries to do like a little bit of drive-by attack. It realizes that you're not the one I'm gonna touch next time because I don't think I can hurt you. It dives right back.
He
It
thinks
dives.
he's getting a next time.
It dives right back into the ground. It goes right back down. You get barely a glimpse of it. It almost looked like the same colors as the one you were fighting above ground. Same colors. You weren't sure what it really exactly looked like. With that, Dekka, you're next. Cortev, you're next.
I've flown. Have I gotten in range yet?
Yes. I will say that you're not very far off. You're maybe like 5 to 10 feet away, but you're
I'm fast.
You're diving distance. You're fine. But no,
But,
you are.
all right. I
you're
don't
very
know how to
close.
do. I don't know how to do weapon roll. I don't know how to do weapon damage.
Okay. So, what weapon do you have?
Submachine gun. No, I don't. I actually don't know if I even have that. I might not have it. I just have gun. I have training in guns.
You have training in it. Okay. So, if I remember it, that is still
If I have to put points into it, then I don't have it.
point in your gun. Is that what you're asking?
Right.
Okay. Well, you've got it in there, so don't worry about it. You have the gun. Everyone has at least one weapon. I will at least give you guys that, just for the.
Right.
If you want to use a weapon, you guys have a weapon.
Shield
So-
for me.
A shield for you. So you will roll. It'll be the same thing. It'll be 2d6.
2d6. Yeah.
And you have to roll less than. Actually, I had Maddie roll with body, but you roll with body, so you have to roll a 7 or lower.
Didn't I have to roll with body?
Yes, I made you roll with body, but I'm pretty sure you were supposed to use your attack value, which I believe. Depending on how you fight. I have a lot of melee stuff guys that hit, so it uses the body roll. But you're using ranged, so I probably should have tell you. What did you?
Aced it.
Well done, Deca. So fucking proud of you.
So, Snake Eyes. That's the best thing you can do. You have rolled a critical, so your damage is doubled. Now you are attacking the one you can see, right?
Sure. Yes.
Now you will have
Attacking
at
my
least
mentor.
attacking your mentor. You do realize this looks quite a lot like Volt as you are attacking it.
Sorry, Vogue.
Sorry, Volt.
I don't know. Like I said, I
You
don't
hear
know.
over your comms. Sorry for what? What? Okay, you will have at least one level in that. So your damage is. So I put one level in your weapon, so that's what you have.
Sure.
So right underneath you do 13 damage, and that doubles.
I'm just like running and gunning, like.
Running and gunning or flying and gunning?
Okay, flying and gunning. I'll show you drive by.
All right. It's mech number 2's turn, and you guys have taken a very good chunk out of him. You see very quickly this mech disappear. It almost like an invisibility field that has just gone over it, and it disappears from sight. It could still be right in front of you. You guys can't see if it has left, if it is.
Is it still kicking up a dust cloud?
No. This level of invisibility actually is like Lightfoot, if I remember correctly. Invisible to both sensors and normal vision. So you don't see the dust clouds. You feel like maybe it's tiptoeing, possibly.
Now that's a
But there,
sight.
that's a sight. It's just poofs, basically. It's disappeared from view. And that's that one's turn. Now we have Helios. If I remember correctly? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Helios.
All right. Where did the one that attacked me? Where did it go?
It has the one that went underground. You can see the dust that it is trailing up as it continues to move underground. Or you can see where the dust ends. It's probably about 15-20 feet away from you.
I leap at it, just jab my swords down into the ground.
That's awesome.
Okay. Now, if I remember correctly, you have a lot. Okay, you have a lot of stuff to add to damage. Do you have anything that adds to your attack roll?
I have combat mastery.
Okay.
I assume that adds to to hit.
Combat mastery. Ooh.
That is attribute.
Yes.
Teresa is combat value.
Okay, so that's a.
You have how many points in it?
I think I've got one rank of that.
Okay. So your combat value is increased by 1, which you don't have to worry about that.
And then in skills, I've got melee attacks. I got 2 ranks of that.
You have multi-attack, sorry?
Melee.
Melee attacks.
Melee attacks, sorry.
I guess it's like melee to defense. There's probably not supposed to be an S on the end. I probably just put an S on it.
Alright, and you're using the ability to attack efficiently hand-to-hand. This is combat skill. Okay, perfect. You... I don't believe that adds relevance to non-uses attack combat value. No, so you don't have to worry about that. So you will roll with your 2d6s. You are attacking something that's in the ground, whether your blades are long enough.
Yeah, it all depends.
It's gonna be slightly difficult, so roll 2d6s plus 1.
2d6 plus 1.
Mhm.
Now, do I get a -1 for the combat mastery?
Just roll 2d6s then. 2d6s.
Okay.
You're good.
There you go.
Now, I do have extra attacks, so do I need to roll once with each blade?
Yes.
All right, first blade. Second blade. Second blade would be that'd be a big old fat nope.
We had to have the snake eyes. We had to have the double 12s.
Mhm.
That's what it is.
The first one's a
Balance-
7, which
balance
equals
it.
my body.
Equals your body. Perfect. Yes, that one hits. You can hear it's. You brought your blades down. One blade stuck into it. One blade you didn't really feel any resistance, so that one just went straight through into the dirt. Now I know you do big damage.
Okay, so I do 30 for the weapons.
Okay.
I believe it's 5 for super, plus 5 for super strength, plus 10 for massive damage, or I may have those reversed. So it's 45 plus with my Kensai or whatever. Let me find my maneuver here. Nope, that's weapon attack. I've got the one that gives me bonus damage when I leap.
That's what he did.
Yep, that's what he did.
It is exactly what I did.
Like a fox in the snow.
We all saw
Alright,
that.
man.
We've all seen that gif.
Except it's a giant
Boing.
milk bring down to fucking gigantic blades. Oh.
Alright, so Kanabara Master, leaping attack, plus 5 to damage, and I may add my acrobatic skill. So it's plus, that's another plus 6 to the damage.
Okay.
So 51 points of damage.
51 points of damage. All right. That's actually great. I love that. Okay. You have successfully brought this boy down a good chunk of health, which is absolutely fantastic. Gemini, you are next.
Mm.
Might be
Helios, be a sweetie and attack. And as I say that, I launch a chain of plasma projectiles that looks like about 8 javelins at the enemy.
Okay.
And let me go ahead and roll for that.
Perfect.
Jesus.
The attack has accurate
Okay.
and auto fire, and I have extra attack.
Perfect.
Fucking this thing up, right up.
Yup.
It's like the Robotech missiles, but with javelins.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Yeah, Helios definitely does a backflip out of the way of that.
Excuse me, pardon me, just gonna back up. Ooh, yikes. Gemini, what is your stomach's
What's your
round?
body stat?
Body stat is an 8. You have extra
Oh!
double 11s. I am so sorry.
That's one way to get snake eyes, I guess.
Okay, so I have 2 levels of Battle Master,
Okay.
1 level of ranged attack, and 1 level of accurate, which I believe is a +2. And I believe the 2 of Battle Master are +1 each.
Okay. So
And of
So
course,
we've got minus. Okay, you've got. Working the. Okay.
basically, I
Just double check
wanted
this.
it to be that unless I rolled boxcars, I would hit.
Uh.
So, did I
that's
do
a
the
ranged
math correctly?
Extra
You know-
attach, that's fine. Combat mastery. Okay. You've got how many levels in combat mastery? 2, you said?
Let me double check. I believe it's 2.
I'm gonna have a bad time.
They probably both hit, and we just didn't do the modifiers.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I did do combat mastery
Yeah, that-
1, but then the skill, then accurate.
Okay. They funky.
Good thing I'm not hitting anything.
You're just like, I'll be over here, guys.
Here, I've got a band-aid.
I mean, my body is also very low for my character, but
I was about to say, if you actually went to hit something, it might not work out.
I just
Okay,
hope
so
defense is
that-
something.
Crotch it.
actually, no. What am I doing? You hit. You've got a body that's quite high. I thought for some reason. No, you've got what mode? What mode are you in? Are you in fighter mode?
I'm in gun mode.
You're in cannon mode.
Yep.
What am I? Oh, javelin mode. Sorry, you've got javelin. You've got
javelin
fighter.
mode.
Okay, never mind. I was looking at the top ones, and your top body stats are 8. Your bottom body stat is 11. So both of those hit. Whether you have the negatives or not, they will for sure still hit.
Jesus.
You have to wonder about with the bonuses if that means extra hits with the auto fire. I have to look up auto fire. I'm sorry.
Auto fire stop. Okay. Oh shit. You fought with javelins.
Now, are they javelins like the Olympic sport, or javelins like javelin missiles?
Well, they're made out of plasma, so javelins like the Olympic sport.
This is where it becomes interesting. 156. Let's see. We're gonna figure out that damage. This will take a moment. Oh god. That. Okay. Plus 2. Firing. So that's ranged, okay. Okay. Yeah. With both attacks succeeding, I'm going to this one. You guys can't tell what has happened under the ground, but it has stopped moving altogether. It's not making up the motion to kick. It's not making up the motion of the turning the sand. The sand has stilled. And with just the idea of it, this thing is out for the count. You have
Rich face. Can you dig this up for us?
I can when we know the other one's not here.
I don't
That's
see
what
him.
we
He probably got.
call
He's probably
lowering doom.
that being said, Acolyte, it is your turn.
Well, since he saw what was going on, he's going to take a total defense and put his shield
Hold.
up.
Hold his position.
Well, he's doing total defense, so he's going to be aware of any attacks to him.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Bring us back up to the beginning with Revenant. You have no sight on where this thing could be, where this thing could have gone. I am going to take us out of combat because this thing seems to have fled. It took like 2 big hits, and it's like, no, thank you. You guys can see off of the ping of your radars if radars are still up, sensors are still up. It is gone, and it has gone quite a bit of distance away to a point where it reaches the edge of your sensors and then disappears off your sensors.
Revenant's still not like. Yuzawa still doesn't relax her stance. Like she's still very alert.
Mhm.
The bow is still out. She's still watching.
Okay.
But she's also keeping an eye out on whatever they're bringing up out of that dirt.
Okay. Cortev, you were going to start digging it out.
No, I was waiting for someone to tell me that
Oh,
the people
okay.
are gone. No one told me nothing.
Okay.
It just left our range of our radar. It'll be fine. Dig it up.
Okay.
Don't worry, Cortev. I've got your back.
It's not very far underground. It seemed to have just been skimming along the loose dirt that was closer to the surface. As you are digging it up, you recognize the similarities to Volt. But this one is brown in color, and it has a yellow energy to it that after a few moments it quickly dims and goes out. You do notice the upgrades it seems to have that all of you can easily recognize of something that has been upgraded to be able to move quickly through the ground.
All right, who's ready for a little alien autopsy? Pop one of my blades.
Oh, jeez.
Well, you
Well.
know what? You get it open, and I might be able to track us back to the location it came from.
And I might as well be there as well, because it's a machine, so maybe I can figure out some of its how it ticks.
So I start cutting it down this way.
Down
Not trying to
there.
go too deep, because if there's a pipe, I'm trying to go deep enough to get through the outer layer, but not so deep that if it had a pilot, I'd be stabbing him necessarily.
Okay. As you are cutting into it, there's a bit of a hard shell exterior. You know those all your mechs seem to have that as well. But as you cut into it, there is a black liquid that spills out from it. And as you continue to dig, you don't find the chasm that all of your mechs have. All of the the little open areas where pilots would sit. This all seems a lot very much organic. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 2 seconds.
Something's going on.
So it's
Black
organic.
ichor, that's gross.
Gooey.
Hmm.
As
I
they
wonder
say.
if it's carbon based, though. If it's actually organic in that it's carbon based, or if it's maybe some kind of silicone based life form.
Okay, now this is challenging for me. My brain doesn't know whether or not to process the fact that I'm squeamish. So normally blood and guts, machine's fine. So what do I do with an organic machine?
Pretend it's oil.
Well, it's bleeding, but it's bleeding oil, so
I'll just keep thinking of it as machine. That's
There you go.
think of it as
That's a good
biotech.
call.
Think of it as
Yeah.
biotech.
No, the bio word's probably bad for them.
Yeah, don't say that out one. I'd rather not have to give our poor lady over here some medication. Poor person.
Yes. I'll. Okay, Dramamine.
I wonder if it's carbon based, or maybe it is silicone based and it's controlled by nanites remotely.
Could be like a drone.
Does anyone here have some kind of like a scanner or something?
We've got our sensors.
Yeah,
No,
I didn't
but
bring
for-
my med kits with me, so I couldn't be very sure.
Well, that would have helped.
Well, it's.
Well, I
a
had to
little late
change
for
out.
that.
I had to bring the biopods, life pods. So it's a sacrifice I had to make. Wasn't expecting to run into mechas that look like Volt.
When the DM gets back, I will be asking about being able to sync up to whatever is left for mechanical for this bot.
Beep boop.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
Speaking of,
What?
hi.
Hi.
It's on the phone.
So Yazawa wants to try and link up, like, see if there's any sort of leftover signal or something they could trace back to a
Okay.
home base. Since
You're looking for a sort of port to
connect to us.
connect to. You don't find any. There is no mechanic link that you can link up to on this thing.
Okay.
Can we use our sensors to tell if it's carbon-based or it might be some kind of silicone-based life form? Or cybernetic, or, can we tell what that gunk is that's leaking out?
What that gun is. From what you guys can tell with sensors and any sort of... it could almost be the human equivalent to blood.
And we're about to lose one of our teammates here in a hot second.
Can we tell what it's made of, though?
From what you can tell looking it over, there is a... it's organic in nature, but definitely not organic that would come from, like, Earth. You're guessing it's sort of organic material that could coincide with another.
And it's in liquid form. Despite the heat, the liquid is staying liquid.
Yep. Coming from the body, it is... once it hits the sand, and it has been out in the open for a little while, you can see that it is quite thick, and the sand sort of sticks to it. And not like in... it's more like a slime in nature. You could feel like it's not like something you can pick up and hold in your hands and bounce back and forth. It's definitely still like a liquid. You could pick it up and it would still run off your fingers and like
ketchup.
fall off your fingers. Like ketchup.
Ketchup.
But it doesn't do that as it comes out.
Maybe if we squeeze hard enough,
it
it would.
You have to smack,
If you squeeze
you have to
hard enough,
smack
you got
the back
that.
of the bottle a few
Yep.
times.
Anything inside that looks like organs?
You would guess, but you're not sure if it's natural. Or, like, it's not like a human body, as you can tell. Like, you could guess maybe that's a heart, but it's, like, where the liver should be. Where you stabbed into the back, it went straight through what you could guess maybe was a spine. Maybe it's stomach.
I mean, I'm probably one of the few people who has medical training here.
I was about to ask who we have that are brains.
I've got Mind 6 and Mechanical Genius and Medical Skilled.
Then I will invite you over to have a look. While I open what might be a stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have Mechanic, I have Medical, and Electronics. I don't know if that helps any with my diagnosis of our new cadaver.
Oh, right. Sorry. I just, you're doing a sort of look over autopsy on it?
Mm-hmm. Figure out organs, parts, what the hell is it?
You can guess that it almost has the same parts as most humans do. You can figure out that this is sort of like the liver. This is what you could guess is the stomach because it's more of like the openness of a stomach, and it has like liquid inside of it. You can see what is most likely a heart. You can see where all the attachments come from. There are definitely more It's definitely a lot bigger than a human heart, just also because of the sheer size of it. But it also has a lot more tubes and arteries and stuff like that that goes back and forth. It almost looks like it's like a spider webbing from what you would guess would be the heart, and then spreads out. It's definitely a form of life form, in a life form that could be in this world. You don't know about the other creatures that have come through. There have been scientists that have done all the testing back and forth on anything that you guys have been able to capture or bodies that you've been able to save and bring back. Guessing mostly that this is just a life form that is from the Nether.
Definitely want to drag one of these bodies back to the guys examine it. Check the stomach for stomach contents.
It's as you cut into it, it's just liquid. It's not as thick as the black liquid that you saw, and it runs out quickly. This liquid actually steams more once the actual heat reaches it from the Nether, and you've opened it and like a steam for a little bit until it is
No
Don't
solid
touch
bits
that.
floating around in there.
no solids.
Yeah, don't touch that. Because if it's like what I think it is, it's gonna melt through something.
As stomach linings are wanted.
Well, our stomach linings probably can't hold hydrochloric fat. Not hydrochloric. I'm brain farting because I took a board exam, so my brain is completely gone to the shite.
You used everything. It's gone now.
Yeah.
Any idea how you did yet?
Nope. Won't know for up to 7 days.
Oh, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, hydrochloric acid. That's probably it. There's also sorts of others. Sulfuric acid's always a good one.
Okay, so there's some kind of life form. Maybe natural, maybe artificial. They clearly bury their dead.
Okay, someone has to ask the weird question.
Go on.
Does this thing reproduce?
Oh, for goodness sakes.
If it was a life form, it would have to.
Well,
Much
of
like the
course,
reproduction
but,
of dinosaurs,
I mean,
I'm going to throw it as a mystery. Nobody will really know. I'm going about my business.
V, do the robot mechs fuck?
Do them fat mechs fuck.
I'm asking because if this is a drone like an ant, then it implies the existence of a queen.
We don't know what this is.
I mean, I'm barely making educated little guesses
Does it
from
have
organs.
sex organs?
Why does it matter? It's got a home base somewhere, and I bet you that's where the people we need to find are. Whether they fuck or not.
Look, I get it. You run a Rule 34 in the background, but we don't need that.
Just if there's a giant one of these that's laying eggs somewhere, or if
Robot eggs.
they pair up. Because if there's a giant one that is the source of the invasion, that could be big.
Or we get our
Perhaps.
people out and shut
True.
this portal down.
Could be the difference of, or we're going to run into like a pack of these things, like a pack of wolves, or a hive of these things, like if they were giant ants. I guess it's a legitimate question.
And I guess we'll figure it out when we get there, because I really don't think examining one thing is going to tell us the answer to that.
Nope. Looking over it, you can't tell if it would be male or female. But you've seen mechs that hold more of a body type of male or female, but unless you call your mech she or call your mech he, there's really no indication of gender.
Yep, that's correct. Like XCOM.
Okay, good to know.
All right, onward, I guess.
And actually, with that discovery, unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it on my end tonight, which means I'm calling it on all your ends. So next time, we will travel more into the Nether, see if we can find Lorcan and Dahlia. Where have they gone? Who's captured them? But for now, Maddie,
Where did they come from? Where did they go?
take it away.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to V for our very first episode of Big Eyes, Small Mouth. I'm really excited to see where this goes, what sort of things we're going to run into, and whether or not some of us can actually hit anything. It'll be great to find out. I'm really enjoying the system, so I'm looking forward to exploring it a little bit more, pushing the boundaries of what I can do, and seeing what my lovely little blind girl can get herself into. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank our sponsors, D&D Beyond, that is D, the letter N, D, Beyond.com, as well as Lucky Dice Cafe and Station Retro. They are live locations for our main DM, Captain Sack, so if you're looking for a live game in the Huntsville, Alabama area, you should go check them out. As always, remember, be good to one another, and roar for initiative.